This is my story from capturing a small footnote in history of two friends who chose to run, cycle and swim their way to a new record. To prove it could be done, to challenge themselves, and to raise money for three very worthy causes that had an impact on their lives. Our story starts in January of 2022, when Kirk and Tim reached out to me to tell me of their intent to combine three of the biggest running, cycling and swimming routes in the Lake District into one single epic adventure. This was a 3-day journey covering Frog Graham, the notorious Bob Graham and Fred Whitton rounds. Put together it would take them around the Lake District not once, not twice, but 3 times. But would I like to be involved? Absolutely. What was it going to be called? Cumbrian. We met at Lancaster University's Sports Science Department in March, where Kirk had arranged to undergo some tests to see how his body might perform under the stresses of the event. His results were staggering. Not only did he show that he was in pro-athletic condition, but he should be able to endure whatever the Cumbrian would throw at him. However, was his fitness alone going to be enough? And was Tim's body going to react the same? Only time would tell. In July, after a week of drought-like conditions, the Cumbrian began. Kirk and Tim set off from Moot Hall in Keswick, just like any other fell race, but they were set to revisit it 5 more times within 60 hours. I met them on the summit of Skiddaw at 3 in the morning to capture their first shots. They swam Bassenthwaite, climbed Grisdale, swam Crummock and Buttermere, climbing the steep slopes of Melbrake, before heading off for Dalehead, Catbells and their last swim across to Wentwater. But disaster struck. Tim hurt his knee and this severely hampered their progress. He didn't say it, but you could see in his eyes he felt he wasn't going to make it. But they did. Day 2 started, and it wasn't long until Tim had to retire. Kirk pushed on. The weather turned and it became his greatest adversary. But spurred on by a fleet of pacers and support crew, Kirk ate up the miles. And despite support from his family on the route, it was getting to him. He finally touched Moot Hall with 3 minutes to spare. Tired, battered and mildly hypothermic, he had 3 hours to turn himself around and get back to Moot Hall with his bike. The Fred was waiting for him. Accompanied by 3 support riders and his former Cumbrian mate Tim, they headed off into the night. The rain followed. Up the Honister Pass, down Buttermere, Newlands Pass, Winlatter, and onto the steepest, Hard Knot. And like a man possessed, he topped out without putting a foot down, before charging up Rhinos and onto Kirkston. Not even a puncher on the last descent could slow his progress. Kirk arrived into Keswick and a sea of supporters. His family, his friends, and the media. What once had started out as a dream had become a reality, and Kirk was the first to complete it. The Cumbrian was, and now is. And I was there to capture it, to live it, to see.